If you were born on Mars and grew up there, your body could be very different from what it is now. Mars may be the artificial future, the most likely space settlement, but from an attractive force. Okay, breathing atmosphere and liquid water. Mars, absolutely. It is not one that can be achieved under existing physical conditions. A place to live. If you try to go on the surface of Mars without space travel, if you walk, you will be choked and unable to breathe. Body expansion. Finally, in extreme radiation. Poisoned to death within minutes. None of this is a sight you want to experience. To survive in a harsh environment like Mars, you need to be taller and thinner than you are now. The attractive force of fire is only about 38% of that of Earth. Therefore, you don't need a lot of muscle strength to walk. Your bone and muscle density will decrease as a result, but don't worry. Such a taller and thinner body, it can help you save energy. This is crucial because food resources on Mars will be very scarce. Also, higher height. It also allows you to have a longer perspective. It talks about vision, the environment of Mars. It also changes your eyes. Mars is known for frequent dust storms, and the intensity of sunlight is much lower than that of the Earth. Under these conditions, your eyes must adjust to dim light. Your eyesight will be better suited to working in low-light environments. In addition, to protect against flying dust and debris, your tears may become sticky. Form a protective barrier. Mars has very little paint, so there are two big problems with this. So let's start with this. Your lungs may need to be purified into super lungs. Can from extraction and trace amounts of oxygen from the thin atmosphere. Secondly, in order to resist harmful solar radiation, your skin will turn dark brown because Mars lacks a dense atmosphere. It's just that the surface is exposed to radiation all year round. Also, due to the extremely low air pressure on Mars, very different temperatures. A comfortable climate with temperatures from 20 degrees Celsius. An extremely cold environment that plummets to minus 153 degrees Celsius. In order to adapt to such changes, your darker skin may absorb more heat. Helps you stay warm when it's cold. Such as, if you were born on a planet hotter than Mars, like Venus, it would be completely different. Venus has an extremely dense atmosphere. It makes him a giant melting pot. Lock in the heat of the sun. If you are not in space, take the case out of the living area. You will be instantly burned to ashes by the heat. In addition to that, the atmospheric pressure on Venus is 90 times that of Earth, enough to crush you. In order to adapt to the hellish environment of Venus, your body needs to be small and strong, also covered with a thick layer of silver skin. This layer of skin reflects intense heat and radiation. It also neutralizes sulfuric acid because the atmosphere of Venus is composed of large amounts of carbon dioxide. The clouds are filled with droplets of sulfuric acid. You need to be able to withstand the unique acids and short and sturdy. It can withstand terrible atmospheric pressure, but even if your body adjusts to gold, the harsh environment of the star, you still can't breathe its toxic atmosphere. They depend on oxygen tanks. In addition, the conditions of Venus, hardly any form of high-intensity activity is allowed. To conserve limited oxygen and energy, you may only be able to stay in a closed living space. Even if the skeleton is strong, living on Venus is still difficult. So how about another planet? So Mercury. Mercury is closer to the Sun than Venus. If Venus worries about extreme heat, then on Mercury, you will face both the double challenge of heat and cold. Mercury has almost no atmosphere. Daytime temperatures up to 427 degrees centigrade, and at night it drops sharply to minus 179 degrees Celsius. And a day on Mercury is equivalent to 3 months on Earth. This means that the cold nights will last forever. To survive on Mercury, you need to evolve a layer under your skin. Special thermal insulation structure. This will give you a metallic appearance. Not only can it reflect hot sunlight, it also keeps you warm on cold nights. Your body will become stocky. Also add a layer of fat to keep out the cold. But in order to be more attractive on a planet with weaker forces, easy to move, your limbs will become slender and inflexible. Mercury's attractive force is only 38% of Earth's. Less muscle strength required. In such an environment, your cells will evolve to be extremely resistant to radiation. Mercury is 3 times closer to the Sun than the Earth. Almost no atmospheric protection. Breathing is also impossible on Mercury. Maybe your lungs will get smaller to store more oxygen. Even your body may develop a special organ resembling plant photosynthesis. Oxygen can be produced from ingested minerals. Even so, life on Mercury is inevitably monotonous. Moving on to Jupiter. Life on Jupiter would be completely different. Jupiter doesn't have a solid surface to stand on. You can only float on hydrogen in a thick cloud of gas and sea gas. Your bone density may decrease, but the muscles will become stronger. Your body will also evolve to be short and compact to withstand tremendous atmospheric pressure. Deep skin color will provide you with some radiation protection, and your body may be filled with a gas greener than air. Allows you to float in Jupiter's atmosphere. But the biggest problem remains breathing. Jupiter's atmosphere is completely devoid of oxygen. Unless you can evolve to breathe hydrogen, an airborne or noxious creature. Otherwise, it's hard for you to survive here. And on Saturn, it's very similar to Jupiter. But on Saturn, you may develop special organs. Can be steamed from water, extracting breathable oxygen from air or safety. In comparison, Saturn may have a slight advantage. Uranus, it will make you look like a little blue. Color alien, blue skin. Color may provide a measure of the universe. Radiation protection. To survive on cold Uranus, your skin needs a thick, and it has strong thermal insulation ability. Uranus is one of the coldest planets in the solar system. Temperatures as low as -224 degrees Celsius. Can't breathe on Uranus because the atmosphere here is similar to that of Jupiter. Lack of oxygen, no solid surface. In addition, Uranus has hydrogen sulfide in its atmosphere. The gas made him smell like rotten eggs. Maybe not at all. It would be a good thing to breathe the air of Uranus. As for Neptune, he's like Uranus. But luckily, there wasn't that disgusting smell. Neptune is slightly warmer than Uranus, but still not enough to make him livable. Even if your body is. Neptune's environment is tailor-made. You can't survive again.